I'm Caroline from Sante Women's Coaching, and I am going to share with you a sweet little hip opener exercise or routine. With hip openers, of course, you have to already be warmed. They are very effective in stretching out the hip joint, but if the muscles aren't warmed yet, you'll only hurt yourself. So my advice would be to do something to warm your body up ahead of time before you start this, such as running, jogging, a good yoga routine with some warrior two poses and such. Any of those things will allow your body to be warmed up so that you can stretch and relax and open your hips safely. With that in mind, if you are going to do this exercise and you haven't warmed up yet, then pause this and then come back to it. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and get started. And we're going to start with our hip legs open. We're coming into Upavishta Konasana, which is a wide leg forward fold. Now, we're going to make sure that our hips are square to the floor. There are two bones called sits bones. They are at the bottom of your spine, and you can feel them when you sit. If need be, move the glutes out of the way, and then you stack everything in your spine on top of those sits bones. So with that stacked, your head will be in proper alignment with your chin parallel to the ground. You're at the crown of your head. You could put a book on it and it wouldn't fall off. You're safe and you're ready to go. Now, the feet can be as wide out as you'd like them to be or as narrow in as you would like them to be. It's entirely up to you and your capabilities. For me, pointing the feet to the corners of my mat works very well, so that's where I'm going to be today. My knees are going to stay pointing to the ceiling, and my feet are flexed and pointing to the ceiling. That ensures that I don't do any twisting with my knees, that all of the movement comes from the hip joint. So as I'm walking myself forward, I'm keeping in mind that straight, tall spine that we started with when we sat down. My hips, my chest, my head, they're all still in alignment, and my chest and the rib cage lowers to the floor. That ensures again that all of the movement is coming in the hips and the thighs, and that's where we want it. So I'm just going to work my way down just to the comfortable edge where I'm feeling work being done, but it isn't painful. If I go any further than this right now, it's going to hurt. So day to day it's different. Some days, I'm laying out flat on the floor. Other days, I'm up here and I'm thinking, yeah, this is good. So don't worry about whether you did more movement the day before or less movement. Yoga is all about what's happening right now and being in tune and respectful with what is happening in your body. So we're just coming down, and then after a few more breath cycles, gently walking our way back up. Then a handy way to move your legs after this, because they can be kind of stiff and tense, is by simply releasing, using your hands underneath your knees and then bringing your legs together. That kind of allows your knees to bend without pain. So I like to go into Baddha Konasana next. It relieves tension that we put in from that last position. And with this one again, we're sitting on our sits bones. Our spine is tall and straight. Our feet are opening, or they're closed, but eventually they'll just start kind of opening naturally to the floor. The soles originally are touching, and then the knees will relax to the floor in time. We don't need to push them down. It doesn't help any, and it actually takes away from the exercise. The goal is allowing the hips to open on their own. So you can just rock them because we're releasing tension right now. Do whatever you want with it as long as your spine stays tall and you're not forcing anything. Then gently bringing your knees together. We're going to, if you're pointing to the side of your mat, go ahead and point to the front of your mat. And we're going to take our left leg and go ahead and let it rest flat on the floor, toes pointing to the sky. We're going to take our right leg and we're going to either leave it right here next to the left leg or cross it over. And then nice tall spine, exaggerate the rib cage up and out, and then you twist towards the right leg. You can use that right leg as a lever. with this one, we're twisting our spine, and it's really, really relieving and relaxing, but it also starts to pull the hip joint out. You can make this more intense by bringing that lower leg in, and this is a more intense version. So some of you, this might be the right one. Others prefer the leg straight. Entirely up to you. And then you just twist towards the back. Make sure it's comfortable. Make sure you're not pushing too hard. You're always working with your body, not against. Then coming back to center. If your leg is straight, go ahead and bring it in so that your left leg is in front of your right hip. And then you're going to try to stack your knee on top of knee. So now that right foot is going to come towards the left. This is a deep hip opener. So if you're finding that it's just not wanting to work for you right now, you can always just simply kind of hold that top knee up a little bit. You can put something in between like a fist. You can bring it up and allow that right leg to rest a little bit. Whatever it takes for you to deep open right here, your hip, whatever that takes. Some people like to add Gomugasana or Gurundasana arms. That's fine too if you want to do that. I like to just, when I'm focusing on hip opening, I want to focus on hip opening. So I just leave it here and then I come forward. And I'm feeling a nice deep stretch right here at the bottom of the hip. It feels good, and I know that it will help me when I'm moving around doing pliés and some of the more fun yoga twists and such. This will help, but this also helps to put my back and my hips in proper alignment. Now gently release. And now we're going to do that spinal twist and then cow face or Gomugasana on the second side. So now this would be our right leg that would be straight, and then the left leg is just going to come over the right, and we're going to come into our spinal twist, or of course we can have that bottom leg bent in, whatever we want to do. And we just twist towards the back, spine is still straight, sit bones are still square to the floor as we twist around towards the left. Whichever position you were in, leg straight or leg bent on the first side, try to do the same on the second side. Even if you can't twist quite as much, that's okay. When you're ready, come back to center. And then if the right leg was straight, pull that in, bend it, and then try to bring the left knee on top of the right knee. And this can take some adjustment to get in and out of. That's okay, take your time. If you need to pause the video in order to get into it, that's totally fine, whatever it takes. Just trying to stack eventually knee on knee, and it might take a while, so it might be out here. I'll come to the front. It might be out here for a little while, that's okay. Eventually, the feet will work their way out, the knees will work their way in. And then you just rest. Always rest. Make sure that whenever you're stretching, you're doing your flexibility, you're doing your relief exercises, make sure that you can rest in them. And that's the whole point of them, is that you're allowing your body to rest, to get back into a proper alignment, to work out kinks, and then when you stand up, you're tall and strong, you're flexible, and you're released. And that's the important thing here. So, work this for just a little bit longer, and when you're ready, gently walk your knee back over, walk this leg out and over, stretch your legs out just a little bit. Okay, now we'll go ahead and let our legs come down flat on the floor. Coming from a tall spine, we want to make sure that we have stretched out our thigh muscles, both the front and the back, and that we are allowing some release in the lower back. Anytime you're doing twists, you can it's easy for your back to start getting tight on you. So coming into Dandasana, we're square to the floor still. We're still stacked. Our spine is still straight here. Our legs are actually going to anchor us to the floor. And then we just walk our hands forward, chest coming towards the floor rather than the back. We're not hunching in like this. Our spine is straight, our spine is neutral, and we're walking our hands down our legs. And again, this is going to be different. Everybody's forward fold like this is going to look different. Don't worry about how it looks. Think about how it feels. Is the stretch in your legs, the calves, the hamstrings, a little bit in the hip here? That's where it's supposed to be. If you're feeling it in your lower back, then come up and off it. You're pushing too hard. Wherever you are is totally fine. Now, gently walk your hands back up. Hands to the side as a brace so that you can lower yourself carefully onto your back. Bring the right knee in, the left knee in, hug them to your chest. Massage your back on the floor, and then open the knees. Your toes are touching, the knees are open. You're going to hold on to your ankles a little bit here. This is similar to that Baddha Konasana that we did sitting at the beginning. And what we're kind of trying to do is revisit what we did at the beginning so that we come a full circle. So we're just letting our hips here open with gravity. It feels good. It's very relaxing, and I think you'll enjoy it. And then gently lifting the knees, the feet to the sky. You're going to take your hands into the arches, if you can. If not, just hold the ankles. And your knees start lowering to the floor. And you eventually will be pulling your thighs, your inner thighs, to the outside of your rib cage. So your pelvis is still on the floor. You're trying to maintain lower back to the floor. This, by the way, is called Happy Baby. It's a funny sounding name for a yoga pose, but it just is. So we're opening our hips with gravity, and we're actually putting a little bit of pressure here. Breathing in and out, and then gently closing your legs back together, allowing them to lower to the floor. Remember, always move with control. Use your core to move your body with control. Gently letting your legs rest straight or feet flat on the floor, wide, and then knees coming together and resting together. Either way is fine. The lower back needs to be on the floor, allowing your spine to rest. Your shoulder blades lay flat. Hands, palms are open to the sky. So you're coming into Shavasana, allowing your body to release, relax, breathing in and out. You can stay in this Shavasana as long as you need to until you no longer feel any tension in your hips, any tension in your back. Just rest it out. When you get up, do be careful. Move slowly because you may have a blood rush of blood to your head when you get up out of Shavasana. Or you may feel a little bit loose in your hip joint. So be careful, and again, stay in tune with your body. Listen to what your body is telling you. Listen to the feedback you're getting. And you will feel better over time. You will feel healthier, and you'll actually be healthier. So have fun with this. Let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.